Like I always do, guys, I want to go over what the Roofing Success Series is, why I built it, what you can expect to get out of it, and then I'm going to introduce our awesome speakers today. And so, diving into the Roofing Success Series, I've been running an advertising agency for the past 6 years in the roofing industry specifically. We've now expanded out to HVAC windows and a few other services. But I've noticed time after time, I have contractors coming to me saying, "Hey, George, I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads, and that's going to fix all the problems in my business." And I came to find out, right, I've helped hundreds of contractors at this point that leads aren't always going to be the thing that solve every single issue in your business, right? You need to be focusing on profit, on sales, and a bunch of other things that actually drive not only to getting more opportunities in the door, but more of the right opportunities and actually being able to work those profitably into deals. And so our speakers today, I think it's a really, really cool product that I'm excited for them to be able to share. I've been stoked on it since I heard about it back in, I think it was July when we talked. I think it was Brad, me and you chatted first, right? Brad might be in the airport quiet right now,
Yep. How you
but
doing?
good man, good, good. Um, but yeah, so I think it's a really cool product that you guys are all going to find interesting too and be able to get a lot of value out of. I do want to set some housekeeping rules as always so that you can get the most out of this call. As always, if you have your phone in front of you, I would recommend just throwing it away unless that's where you're watching the Zoom webinar. Today, the floor instead of my office couch, so we'll see if that's cracked afterwards. We'll do a quick cracked screen check. But other than that, just close out of any other windows, pull out a notepad, and just get ready to learn something new, right? That's the goal of this webinar series every week is to come in, learn something new, learn something you can implement in your business to get 1% better every week. Same philosophy we have at the agency is always to be getting 1% better every week, because if you do that, consistency over time compounds. Now, with that rant being over, we're actually at about 5 minutes. That's perfect. I want to introduce today's speakers. We got a bunch of people on today. I'm only used to introducing one person, but we got Tito, Reese, Arielle, and Bradley on with Real Facts, which is a really cool tool that's going to be able to help you guys to avoid dealing with less than stellar homeowners that don't pay bills and a few other issues that they help resolve. I'm going to let Tito take it away from here and kind of dive into that. Tito, thanks for coming on today, and I'll let you take it away there.
Thanks for having us, George. I really appreciate it. I know you got a big contact list, so we're all here appreciative of you taking the moment to hear us out and kind of learn about what Real Facts has to offer to you guys. That said, I'm the president of Real Facts, and Real Facts is the first platform ever to allow contractor to rate and review a property owner. More importantly, it also pulls the Real Facts report that allows the contractor to see who's on title and see if there's any mechanic liens. Why it's important to pull a Real Facts report is that in several states, including Texas, where I reside, whoever's on title needs to be on your contract. Without that, you have essentially what's called a imperfected contract. Should something happen where there's a failure to payment and you need to file a lien on a property, you're technically filing an invalid lien that the property owner, whether he's a residential owner or he's a commercial owner, can actually go in and have it removed, and you may be penalized by paying their attorney fees. So it's very important to make sure that when you're utilizing Real Facts, that you're also going in and looking at these Real Facts report, you're utilizing who's all on your title itself. Kind of a brief story real quick about how we started is as a contractor at one time back in 2018 or so, we had two back-to-back customers that failed to pay. And one of them was an Angie's List customer, and
What
it
was
brought.
Tito? What
Go
was the
ahead.
name of your business at the time?
It was Pyramid. Pyramid.
Okay.
So whenever we were back in the day, we had a customer who was. We used to pride ourselves about not taking any kind of deposit. We used to go out there and say, "Listen, once we do this job and you're happy with it, and we've walked this job, and there's no issues at all, we'll demand final payment." Little did I realize really quick how vulnerable I really left ourselves doing that. But I had a lot of trust on people. I really did. And the fact of the matter is there's a lot of untrustworthy potential customers out there. She basically told us in the end of this, I'm going to write a good review on BBB. I'm going to write a great review on Angie's List and Google review,
BBB.
but I do not have the funds to pay you this money. Now, it was only 14 grand, but 14 grand back in the day is a contractor's livelihood. And when I went to go file the lien on the property, when she said, "Hey, listen, I don't have the money. Go ahead and file a lien on the property. You'll get paid when I die." I went to go file the lien. I was the fifth contractor to file lien on that property. And when I went back to my business partner at the time, he said, "This is the second one we've had this month. Where's the website that we can look up if a contractor has gotten stiffed by a customer? Where can we go to type of an address and see prior history of this person, and see if there's any mechanic liens and stuff on the fly?" And so there wasn't one. And so we decided that we were going to be one of the first platforms to unite contractors together to mitigate those risks. And that's the ideal principle behind Real Facts. And that's how we ended up starting it. And then from there, we realized that we really needed to help contractors. There's many contractors that don't know when they are stiff what to even do. What's the first steps? So we help them on sending demand letters, that protects your lien rights. And then we also file mechanic liens on their behalf, and that protects them all the way. And after that, if they need any legal issues, we refer them out to a contractual lawyer. That way there's no issues there as well.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
I was
that
gonna
is.
ask.
It's different.
I mean, because like even when we're generating leads for people, not every lead's built equal, right? Not every homeowner is built equal. So now, like nurturing a lead to an appointment can take a lot of work, a lot of calls, a lot of texts, a lot of follow up. Contractors, if they can see that, they can go in and kind of optimize on who's actually a good homeowner to work with, follow with them more
Right.
so than some guy who's gonna kind of like
Waste their time.
trying to
And
figure out
most
how to say it in a
contractors,
non-vulgar way. But yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, most contractors don't realize, especially the mom and pop contractors, right? Which there's a big makeup of that in this industry, whether it's a contractor or a roofer. There's a lot of mom and pop contractors. They're just staffed with maybe max 12 people, but they don't realize that the time wasted is essentially lost profit. And so joinrealfacts.com allows them to join for free and start rating and reviewing for free. And more importantly, check that address. It's really simple to go on there and type in that address and see if there's any contract that or any kind of feedback that's, whether it's positive or negative, that customer may have failed payment or had a dispute with a contractor and has a mechanic lien on the property. So had this app been around in 2018 when we did that job, which was a lead from Angie's List, we could have mitigated that risk and saved ourselves the headache of 14,000. I probably would have said, "You're the first person I'm ever going to ask for 100% of the money up front."
That's cool. That's
Right?
great. And Reese, I saw
So,
you about to share the platform right there, but do you mind if I ask Tito a few more questions here around the platform to clarify for everybody
Yeah,
else? Cool.
absolutely.
Alrighty. So as far as like the product itself, it came about because you were kind of screwed out of that job. That's $14,000, and that's not just
right.
like $14,000 that should have been revenue. I imagine you had
The
hard costs
time.
with materials and labor already that you had paid out that you were waiting to get that
Hmm.
14K to pay back, if I'm not mistaken.
Right on. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And so it's not really just like a loss of 14,000. You lost the
Yeah.
14,000 in revenue, but like, I would kind of add on top, like we already had expenses out. We were already over the edge for this certain
Hmm.
person. They left us hanging. So it can help with
Hmm.
that. And it sounds like the way that it helps is number one, up front. Hey, is this homeowner somebody I should even talk to? Right? Or is it somebody that I need to verify I get cash in hand before we do a single lick of work? Back end is if we do that and we still have issues getting paid, having support for, hey, this is how you actually mitigate these issues and get the cash that you're owed, the revenue that you've generated for the work that you've done.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% correct. And
Cool.
then we took it a step further too. We realized when we first launched this and a soft launch, we realized that we were being tagged multiple times on social media of subcontractors trying to put bad reviews on properties when a homeowner may have paid the general contractor, but the general contractor
Oh,
didn't
wow.
pay the roofer. And so what we did was we allowed the subcontractor to sign up and be able to tag a GC. And so that allows for homeowners or property owners to now sign up with Real Facts and check their general contractor and get the real juicy facts instead of just saying, "Oh, they've got good reviews from BBB." Well, are you going to have this guy who you got a good review on from BBB, and then all of a sudden their subcontractor that they failed to pay files a mechanic lien, and you've already paid the general contractor? That sucks. I've heard those stories multiple times. I just had one where a homeowner paid a contractor to do a build out on a shop garage, and the GC did not pay the driveway concrete masonry guy. And so the concrete masonry guy went back and filed a mechanical lien on the property. The homeowner then contacted the GC, said, "You charged me for the concrete. I paid you. Why didn't you pay your subcontractor?" And even though they had really high listings on Google and Angie's List and or Yelp and BBB, they still had a mechanics lien because they failed to pay the concrete guy. So as a homeowner sitting there, possibly listening to this podcast, I encourage you to go to RealFacts, look up the GC, and see if there's any issue. How that works, real quick, George, is
Yeah.
the subcontractor would just go and type in the address, and while he's there, he would put a drop down. Instead of homeowner or property owner, he would click GC. It'll prompt you to look up the general contractor. Okay. He can go that way. That's the second way. The one you're doing right now, you can go in there and type up a contractor, and you can look up a contractor. Reese from C's. Oh yeah, it tagged him, and you can write a review right there. It's going to always tag an address because we are going to validate that the source of this event and review is factualized with addresses. And so, if you were a potential homeowner and you were going to look up a XYZ construction, you would go and look up XYZ construction. It would tell you a list of addresses that you can click on and see those reviews, whether they're positive or negative. And I think that's a really good way to provide some insight that other platforms fail to acknowledge and haven't realized that that's an issue. Everybody uses subcontractors here. You want to make sure that your general contractor pays his guys, and BBB won't record that, and Yelp doesn't record that. It records the end user's experience, but not the inside of are they good. I used to work for a multiple of general contractors in my earlier days, and there are a big handful that will not pay you and stuff. So, but we ended up getting hit up so many times that I was like, you know what, we got to do something about that. I remember the days that I got failed payment by a general contractor as well, and there's really nothing you can do. And so, other than file mechanics lien, of course, but yeah, so we added that platform. At first, we called it Blast because it's kind of blasting the general contractor, but now we just call it just part of Real Facts, and you just can look it up whether you're a subcontractor or you're a property owner or you're a general contractor. Join realfacts.com to see the real factual events that may or may not have happened on the property. So that's
That's
the
super
idea
cool.
of it, George. Is we're just trying to bring some validity to the work industry and make awareness. When I interviewed several roofing contractors and general contractors before I started this to see if maybe they were going to pitch the idea, see if they liked it. I will never forget that. I remember four of them ended up telling me the first person that makes this is going to be go right to the top because it's something that's a necessity. There needs to be a voice for the contractors. There's nothing out there like it. And
Yeah.
so we'd like to raise awareness and help contractors grow. I've been in their spots, and nobody teaches you how liens work. Nobody teaches you that this is what you can do. And it's sad when I look at those emails or I get a text from a customer in Miami, a lady who is owed $200,000 and it put her out of business. It's
Yeah.
horrible feeling. And she's like, "What do I do now?" We got her over to an attorney, and she's writing a review now, and this just happened a couple of weeks ago. And I just, we want to be there for them. Want to be there
Yeah.
for them.
And I think that's a huge thing because even I didn't learn this, I was older, right? But like even our family company around like 2008, they were at like $500,000 on a job that just never got paid, right? That we're already out the
Wow.
materials, labor, all that for. So I think something like that could have prevented significant, like especially during an economic downtime like that. That's definitely not a good time to be owed $500,000.
Right.
I was
Right.
12
And
years
so
old at the time, so I didn't understand what the hell was going on, but I
that's
couldn't
horrible
imagine.
story.
Tell them to leave a review on Real
Yeah.
Facts.
There we go. I don't know
20,
if you will, right?
20 years
But
later.
so basically you're helping not only kind of contractors determine like, hey, how do I make sure with RevOps that I'm actually bringing on like qualified revenue that's going to turn into cash, not just like pie in the sky revenue, but
Hmm.
also subcontractors to see, hey, should I even work for this GC? Homeowners to see if I should work
Absolutely.
with that contractor. Because if
Right.
they have liens, right, they're not paying their vendors, etc. That's definitely not a great
100%.
sign of them sticking around. From a homeowner's perspective, I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, If I have a 50-year warranty on my roof, but that I'm working with a contractor who's going to be out of business in 2 years because he's not paying his vendors, that 50-year warranty doesn't mean shit.
Right
So,
on. And part of our team is so unique here at Real Facts because, I've been a contractor since 2009, a roofer, and I ended up had the autonomy to sell and get out, and I went over to ABC Supply. Then I'm a partner at Mid Atlantic Roofing Supply. But our team is based on a lot of contractors. Arielle, she's vice president of our company, and she has her own roofing company. And Bradley is working in the roofing industry and construction overall. And so we make up our team and staff make up a big portion of the construction industry. And that's why that's useful is we understand and we get what the needs are for contractors. And so if you're listening to this right now, we urge you to go out to Real Facts and share your stories, whether it's positive or negative. Arielle can contest to that, what she does on a daily. And first of all, I want to introduce our vice president, Arielle. Go ahead, Arielle. You want to say hi?
Hi guys. Yes, I am very excited to be here, and I joined my father. I am a part owner at a roofing company with my father, and thus far things have gone well for us, and I have only had the opportunities to provide positive reviews on homeowners. So let's hope that, things stay that way. But yes, me as a mom and pop contractor, I am very thankful to be a part of this and have this platform to, fall back on. Make sure that, everything, my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted and whatnot. So
Yeah, we George, real quick, we ended up thinking when I was talking to general counsel about it and what legalities are. The biggest question the attorneys had was how many users. People are motivated when there's a situational issue. George, you have a roofing company today, and there's $1 million outstanding. I guarantee you, if you hear this podcast, you're joining Real Facts. How do we engage on the people that are okay and they say, well, that never happens to me? From my experience, the people I've said, they immediately say, well, that doesn't happen to us, and then they'll backlash. Well, now that you say that, a couple of years back a lady did kind of screw me over, and I don't remember what we did. And so we were worried about getting positive feedback because we thought people wouldn't take the time to leave a review. But we had a really good amount of positive feedback. I feel that there's quite a bit of general contractors that are happy with homeowners and property owners and stuff, and then they leave good feedback. On our website, you can see that we show the first 4 reviews and stuff. But it's up to more reviews if you start clicking on addresses and stuff like that. And we eventually want to get to a point where we're raising awareness so well that on the negative reviews that we're doing something, every quarter. And I can let Reese talk about it, but to kind of promote awareness. We want to get like the most heartfelt, reviews that are, and let people vote on them on our social media and just kind of go that route. I'll let Reese, and Reese is head of marketing and sales. And so I'll let go ahead, Reese. You can introduce
Yeah.
yourself to the team as well.
George, thanks for putting this on. Like, we're honored to be here. This is
Yeah, that's
Real
cool.
Facts. Yeah, it's incredible. It's really incredible. So it's exciting to see what you're doing here. We're glad to be here. Real Facts for us is inspired by contractors. This is built by contractors for contractors. And it is the first ever platform that allows contractors the ability to rate and review property owners. That's first and foremost, is that we are a community of contractors that are coming together to really kind of punch back at kind of bad actors, property owners who, prior to contractors even getting on the job site, signing the contract, they have sometimes, unfortunately, pre-planned that, hey, I'm not going to pay for this work of service. And Real Facts is a platform that a contractor can, I'm going to show you guys right here. They can rate and review property owners and general contractors. So they'll start by inputting any address that you're about to work on. And then from there, you'll be able to see if there are reviews that are on that property. What are they beforehand? That's our big vision. That's where we want to get to, is if you had a good experience or a bad experience on a property, go to joinrealfacts.com, type in the address, sign up for a free account, and leave the review. That's what everyone can do to really just come together and support one another.
100%.
It's a totally free service. Now, in addition to that, once you type in an address, what Tito was saying, if you wanted to pull a real facts report, I want you to see what is a real facts report. This is what a custom branded real facts report looks like, where any address in America, you can type in the address, pay $15 if you're part of a pro account. So a pro account is $49 a month. But that brings, wow, we're doing a special right now where the real facts report are $10. But let's say you don't want to sign up for a pro account yet, then you can pay the standard rate of $45. And this will get you the absolute most detailed breakdown of the entire history of the property. Why is this important? Brad or Tito, I love
Yeah.
what you guys see. Yeah, about
Yeah.
perfecting. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, it's absolutely important. Going back to what I first jumped into, George, the reason why it's important to pull a real facts report, you can see your open liens, or generally your first lien is always going to be your mortgage. If they were to fail payment on that, and you want to send a demand letter, you want to get somebody's attention, send that over with your invoice over to their mortgage company. I guarantee you they're going to get some attention on that. Secondly, as before, let's just assume that you pulled a real facts report prior to getting them to sign the contract. You would make sure, again, going back to, if that property says it's listing Arielle and Bradley here, that you want to make sure as a contractor, whether you're doing the pool, the roofing, whatever, that you've got Arielle and Bradley. A lot of times, even when they have insurance, and just to say that there was a roofer who's storm chasing and he's going to New York and he's getting and he's at Arielle's house, and for whatever reason the insurance is in Arielle's name but not Brad's name, but Brad is part of that on that title, you would have what's called an imperfected contract. In the court's eyes, if the customer or property owner was slick and had an attorney, he could actually write that off, and you'd left with not being able to do much after that. There's a lot of times where you'll see on the real facts report, you'll list 3 people, and you may say something like, "Hey, Arielle, I'm building a pool for you today, and I really like working with you and your husband, Bradley. Everything's good. I pulled the real facts report. I did see Mr. Howard. Who's that?" And Arielle said, "Well, that's my dad. He co-signed for us." And it was technically, according to the state law, you have to notify them. So I'm going to include you guys on this contract. I will send a DocuSign to your father. Would you mind letting him know that you're building a pool and we just want to cover our bases, make sure that we have everything perfected on the front end of this contract before it gets too late. And so mitigating risk is what it's all about, and coming together, like Reese said, as a community. I know Bradley joined us shortly after launch, and he has a couple of stories he can share in his feed. And I'd like to introduce our general partner, Bradley. Go ahead, Brad. If you got a second to just say hi.
Sure. Thank you so much, George, for having us here. Tito,
Sure.
thank you for bringing the idea to life. Really quick, Tito and I, we talked about this idea, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, we
So,
did.
and we talked about it several times after that, up until
Yeah.
this point. So
Mhm.
this idea coming to fruition is really cool. And as far as the stories goes, I have a lot. I've been a contractor for about 12 years of my life. I've taken the losses that contractors have taken, mainly in your hurricanes, where you lose a lot of money in hurricanes, hailstorms. Every contractor here knows you go door to door. I've been door to door for 10 years plus. You have no idea who's behind the door. You have no idea what kind of person they are. They could be good, they could be bad. You just don't know. And the new guys, I've probably trained anywhere from 30 maybe to 40 guys on how to knock doors and sell roofs. And those guys that are new have no clue that person is bad or good. They're just trying to get the first deal under their belt, trying to get paid, and it takes a while to get paid. And whenever it comes down to it and the homeowner does not pay the bill, it's up to the roofer who owns the company to either pay that rep out or say, hey, we didn't make any money. You're not going to get your commission. And it could be a situation where that guy's depending on that money so bad that he has to quit selling roofing and going and get a real job because he needs money to support his family. So what I can say and why I'm excited about Real Facts is because this app is incredibly, it's going to help a lot of people. It's going to save a lot of people time. It's going to save a lot of people heartache. Um, I lost a lot of money in Louisiana in 2020 and 2021. And there's a lot of contractors that did because homeowners just blatantly didn't pay once the insurance company had settled the losses. And that's just the way it goes. And it happens probably 1,000 to 2,000 times a year, maybe more than that. And Tito is just like I know. And
Mm,
every contractor that's listening
tons.
to this, if you've been a victim of this, you know how bad it is. And some guys take losses more than others. Some guys are 10 grand, some guys are 400, 500, 300. It'll change your life when you lose that kind of money. So this is the great thing.
Yeah, and it's really sad, George. I had some of the pleasure to sit down with some big guys here in Houston, Texas, as part of a big organization of property owners. And one time I was sitting down with them at a dinner table, and one of the gentlemen, I won't say his name, but one of the gentlemen got pretty toasty on Christmas, man, and he ended up like saying, contractors make too much money, and he's a big, owner of apartment complexes, and every single contract he gets, second they're done with the work, he stops payment. And he stresses them out to where he says, hey, my lawyer's going to contact you. We're going to settle 10 cents on the dollar of what I owe you. And ultimately, he got to saying that even when they do get an attorney, they settle. He said, I still make money. I still save money. And it would gross me and my wife out to the fact that we ended up leaving. We just, not the same caliber. I grew up installing roofs with my own hands. I know how hard it is firsthand. And so I just been really appropriate. But the sad part is those contractors that he screwed over, HVAC guy was one of them. He owed 80 grand. Then he ended up selling it for like 45 grand or 60 grand and still owed him money. He said, and he's bragging about how much money he saved. Uh, you know, those contractors have no platform to share their stories. So unfortunately, that big guy who's got multiple properties, he basically, in a nutshell, said, I don't care. There's going to be a contractor who gets excited to do this roof next year if it held, or do the HVAC the next following year. I don't care. I'm going to continue to do it. What I've noticed is that every single one of them settles, so they must have too much profit on the table. And I'm like, man, you don't realize, man, these contractors are, especially when they're first getting out there, are running at 20% margins to 30% margins. They don't got 50% margins, and it's just really wild. And I think if I didn't create this, if we didn't create this, our team, I think somebody would create it in a matter of time. The biggest issue is that SaaS industry doesn't correlate really well with the blue collars. And it took a meeting with Brad, who said, you to meet Reese, and he's in the SaaS industry to help you build this thing out. And I think the first words Reese said was, is this a real issue? And he wasn't the only one. I had another buddy who's in the SaaS industry. He said, homeowners or property owners don't pay. I was like, yeah, where do you think the term slumlord came from? Slumlords are the first people to screw over a contractor, not just the owner who's renting the tenant. They're the first person to screw over a contractor. And I think there should be some accountability for it. And I want to give props to the customers that pay on time and do what they say they're going to do. I want to give props to them. And so I'm hoping that a lot more reviews come through like they have been that are positive, because I think it's important that if you're supporting Real Facts and the ideology behind Real Facts, that you're also leaving good reviews at the next contractor, or if they're trying to build a pool and you're not in pool business and you did a roof for him, that you're leaving. I could see the next 5 years homeowners telling contractors, hey, would you mind leaving me a good review on Real Facts? I'd like to get a discount from the next person. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's mission towards it. That's the mission of what we're trying to accomplish over here. And so I'll leave it to you, George. What do you think?
I think that's freaking huge. And I think that's something that the industry see all the time. Like I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, etc. Even people I talk to. Biggest thing is like how do you figure out who the good actors are versus the bad actors on the GC side, on the homeowner side? And I think having some sort of transparency and clarity on that's going to help the industry kind of move forward and away from all these horror stories you see with homeowners not paying, screwing over sales reps, Like a lot of these guys are small businesses too, so their family's income, what they eat at the end of the day, depends on the income of the business. So
Absolutely.
I think that's huge because
Absolutely.
small business kind of supports America. And I feel like
It
sometimes
does.
they don't get treated the best, you know.
It does. Yeah,
So
I'm Mid-Atlantic and we support small businesses and big businesses too, but it's really sad because we have historically noticed that when contractors can't pay their payments, it's from a homeowner or a property owner screwing them over and they can't pay us because of it. And then they need help with putting liens and I think it's really sad to see that I think that's just really sad to see that when that happens, they go and start another one or they go work for somebody else. And bigger companies that have got their stuff down do have their stuff down. They turn down jobs. They turn down jobs left and right. They say, hey, we pull credit checks. Hey, and they do that kind of stuff. But they also employ $60,000 salary people sit behind a desk and kind of do this. What we're doing is trying to mitigate it, make it quick, fast. This is working on right now with our senior mobile developer right now, David Nestor, to have an iOS and an Android that's coming out really soon. We want to make it very, very easy for these contractors. Another thing that we RealFacts does to kind of help offset the cost because it is free to rate and reviews. We offer general liability and workers' compensation. When I was a contractor for since 2009 all the way to 2019, I cannot remember a time where an insurance provider called us. Now we weren't the biggest. We were doing at max, anywhere between $6 to $9 million a year in revenue as a roofing contractor. And I cannot remember any insurance carrier calling and saying, "Can I quote it?" So I just sat there and thought to myself, why don't we, we have a partner who's a licensed broker. Why don't we incorporate him into Real Facts? These guys can make it simple. You need an insurance quote, general liability. You want to test it every 2 years. Make sure that you're getting the rest right for possible. Do you need a bond? Please go to joinrealfacts.com, sign up. It's free to sign up and click I need to get a quote. It's a free quote. And so we want to be the contractor space is what we would like to do, that we're known for rating and reviewing property owners and general contractors. So I'm hoping that today guys that are sitting there listening to this or may click on the video we share or that George shares on Facebook or social outlets, I hope they hear this and they say, you know what, I'm going to take a couple of seconds to write some good reviews on people that were really good, and I may write some people that were really bad, because the irony in this is that I have yet to meet a customer yet. And I encourage all those listening, including yourself, George, to ask a contractor who's been in business longer than 4 or 5 years, have you gotten stiffed by a property owner? I have yet to find one person that says they have not. They all say, oh, it never happens to me. And I say, so you've been in business 5 years doing, $10 million a year and you've never had a customer ever stiff you. And that's when they think back and they say, well, now you think about it, you're right. I did have a lady who did an apartment complex and she stiffed me. I had a customer right now. He, his sales went door to door knocking, just like every other sales guy does, right? And his sales guy typed up a homeowner and wrote a contract. The roof for 45 grand or 40 grand, and then turn around, send them an invoice. Customer didn't answer. So that roofing contractor sent it to legal. The attorney notified him and said, hey, I just want to let you know, we don't know who your sales rep signed up. We have no clue. We don't know. He's not the property owner, so you can't file lien. So, and you can't, you sue him. You just lost over 40K and there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. You think as a sales rep sitting behind, Facebook right now watching this, that you think he paid that sales rep? From what money did he pay him if he can't pay? So you're a sales rep, you're an owner. It still boils down to wasting your time and just kind of fact checking the real facts before you start a job. If the real facts was out when that happened, he could have, checked the title and said, listen, Barry, I have no clue who you are. It shows the title to be this person, this person. I mind including you, but we definitely need to send a DocuSign or something to them, to that fact. So hopefully in the next 2-3 years, people are sitting there saying, thank God for real facts. We've saved money because of it, mitigated time and risk. That's the purpose of it, guys.
I think before anything to production, the road facts report gets examined. The company looks at it and says, this job's not going into production until we can verify everything on the contract. That way,
Yeah,
nobody ever loses money on material and labor ever. And if the
Yeah.
homeowner wants to walk at that point and say, okay, great, you can walk. You save yourself so much time, so much heartache.
yeah,
And you can tell the sales rep, hey, man, you did what you're supposed to do, but this one's not going to be good. We can't get paid. We're not going to go through with it.
yeah,
It's just a great checks and balance, in my personal opinion.
yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Actually leads into my next question, which was going to be like in your roofing business, let's say that I'm George's Roofing over here and I'm wondering, okay, how do I implement real facts within my process, right? If
Hmm.
I were to use it, Arielle, maybe use it within your business, like how do you use maybe the reviews on the front end, like the actual real facts check on the back end? Like where should I be implementing that in my sales process and my production process to make sure that I kind of am running a tight ship and not potentially hemorrhaging cash?
Yeah, I think after you before you onboard a customer or before you have a contractor signed, I think you wait at that you have a homeowner say, "I love your estimate," or "Yes, we'll do it for insurance proceeds." I think at that point, you sit there and say, "Okay, great. I'm just going to run it by your address on RealFacts, pull a RealFacts report. It gives you a detailed list. We even do a custom branded logo these days that it looks like it's your company. You can provide that to them. We're working with an attorney right now. We have not gotten it back, so I got to be clear about that. But we're working with an attorney right now because I heard a couple of contractors tell me, "Well, Tito, we have liens on properties. Doesn't mean anything. You got to wait till they sell." And I said, "You're right. You're absolutely right. I think there should be a better way of doing business." Well, I found out through the attorneys, real estate attorneys, that how big actually forced in foreclosure. The facts report will also tell you that if it's not. It used to be that if it was homestead, you really couldn't force it in foreclosure. That's not true. We're working with an attorney that is providing us some documents, and as soon as the documents are provided, we'll put them in the real facts report. It'll be something that's pre-populated based off of the legal lot description, the legal address, the legal owners on title, and what it'll do is it'll prompt you to say, George, what are you doing on this property? Building a pool, how much? 500,000. It's called an NOC or a pre-lien notice. You may, if you're in Florida, that you have to have those pulled before you start. What they do is they protect the contractor and the property owner. And so what we're trying to implement potentially here in the next couple of months is that when you pull a real facts report, it pre-populates an NOC or a pre-lien notice that you can then provide with your contract to the property owner and say, I need both things signed. And so if there's ever a failure to payment, depending on your state, you can go in there and send an intent to lien, then the lien, and then you can actually summon a judgment for foreclosure, a 90-day auction to satisfy the lien holders. And so it gives a real big weight. And if we could accomplish that, I think there's a very big changer on that. Of course, we still have to wait. So I want to be very transparent on we are waiting to be advised from our general counsel on that side of it. But we think
Well,
that that's
and that'll
important to
be
notice.
rolled out. Oh, super important. So that'll be rolled out to our pro users as well. So
Correct.
if that's important, one of the things that we wanted to do is any person that's going through the process of signing up for RealFacts, if you have questions, what Tito just covered is, we think, somewhat groundbreaking. The fact that contractors can now get paid. Arielle is going to be doing one-on-one signups for folks to just personally people through. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us through joinrealfacts.com, and we'll set up one-on-one. But for the most part, it's very self-explanatory. We have a cool thing that we want to share with you. So here in a couple minutes. But
Sure.
George, is there anything else that?
No, I'll have you drop that link in the comments too, but we are running up on the end of our time here, so I did want to open
Cool.
up for Q&A for anybody involved, and then Reese will get into kind of if you want to do a demo and then see how people can connect with you, we'll do that then too. So let's see what we got. joinrealfacts.com. One to see for anybody in Zoom, or I see we got some people in the Facebook live stream and YouTube live stream. If you have any questions, give you a few seconds to ask those, and then if not, we'll move on to kind of next steps there. Cool, guys?
Right on.
Cool, cool. That's a cool product. While people are kind of putting their questions in the chat, like I think there's a lot of other
I
opportunities that
tried to
come into
look
this
you up
too.
on chat right now on Facebook. I see it. I don't know why.
I might have busted it because we're not using Riverside. I have it up on YouTube right here and on Facebook.
It's all good. Yeah,
But
I think George, we covered a lot of really good things today. Really,
sure.
if there's one takeaway, while questions are coming in, uh, we Real Facts wants to be known for helping contractors get paid for your hard work. So if people only remember one thing, it's that we want Real Facts to be known for helping contractors get paid for their hard work. How do we do that? Well, on the mitigating risk beforehand, before taking a job, pull the Real Facts report. Make sure that you have a perfected contract. You can look to see on that Real Facts report if there's any current active liens against the property. If they are, you know two options. One, you're going to collect money up front, all right? Or two, you're going to tell the property to kick rocks. Another thing, we want good reviews just as much as we want reviews that if things don't go well, we're not trying to corner homeowners, property owners. We just want to create greater transparency between contractors and property owners. So that's what you do before you do work. You pull the facts report, and then afterwards, if for whatever reason they decide to pay, well, if you're a pro member, then you have a perfected lien and the process that Arielle and Tito will line out for you. But then also we will personally guide you in helping you file a mechanics lien on that property.
100%. Well spoken, Reese. Thank you so much.
And Reese, while you went through that, we actually had a question come in too. I don't know who wants to answer this, but it says, "How do your on-demand demand letters work?" It's from Monica. Monica, does anybody want to go through that?
Yeah.
Arielle.
I believe Tito is probably the
Yeah.
best one to answer that one.
Yeah, so demand letters, demand letters, they're intent to liens is what they are. They're titled intent to liens / demand letters. They're actually a requirement in several states. If you're going to file mechanic liens on a property, there are stipulations on timelines of when you can do that. And we do helpful, useful page on when you have the rights or when you're outside of your rights. And it's just at this point, you may have to contact us and just say, I need help with an attorney. But the demand letter basically goes in there and it's certified mailed out. You would click it and you would the information. We do need a copy of your invoice or the outstanding balance because it has to be factualized on there. And we send that certified out, and then we actually will email you the actual receipt for certification. You need that when you go file a mechanics lien on the property, if it should they not pay, and that's how that works. So pretty easy. We have a document. In several states it may be different, but in most states we have the universal document. You're giving us the information, what they owe, who's. It does prompt you to share that bad review because obviously if you're sending a demand letter, probably a bad review. You can remove it later at your anytime you want, and then and you deliver a review. It's a checkbox, and then we'll send it out certified. Simple process. That was hard when I was a contractor. Trust me, it was hard.
Really cool. So they basically get like a rev ops department. That's cool. Yeah. And I think that's more valuable. Like between generating a new job every month or just making sure you get paid on one more job, I think making sure you get paid on one more job is going to be more valuable
Yeah,
because that
and
cash is already out there.
dude, you'll be surprised how many contractors are like, oh, I got stiff. It's okay. On to the next one. Like,
Yeah.
whoa,
And then why
okay.
is my profit like 2%?
Yeah,
You know?
Dallas, Texas by hell every single year.
Yeah.
The average in Dallas, I mean, the average homeowner in Dallas, Texas now is deductible rate has gotten so high, and these roofers that were eating deductibles can't physically eat them. These
Yeah.
property owners are so slick. When I talked to a contractor the other day in Dallas, and he said, "Well, I got stiff twice in them." I said, "What'd you do?" And he said, "Well, I didn't do anything, man. I just went to the next person." I was like, when that customer gets hit again next year, what do you think they're going to do to the next guy? What do you think they're going to do to the next guy? It's just breeding bad blood. It's all you're doing. And I told Christian, I said, hey man, I don't know why you give into this. You should really, for what it's worth, tag the address and say, if it's Ms. Jones, please beware. She's not going to pay you. She may give you a piece of the front part, but she won't pay you. I know we're running out of time. So go ahead. What was the other questions that you may have, George?
You're good. I wanted to give Reese a chance to say, like, if
Yeah, you
people
bet.
want to get in contact, learn more about Real Facts, right? What you guys do, get involved. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah.
Um,
One of the ways that we like to end when we meet people like yourself or we're talking with contractors is that we always want to put ourselves in your shoes if you're listening to this right now, and ultimately we ask ourselves, what's in it for you? Like why real facts? I hope that Tito, Arielle, and Bradley made some really good explanations on the benefits of real facts that we can bring you in your business, whether it's through the real facts reports, us helping you file a mechanics lien, benefits of a pro membership, and then also the ability to just quote your insurance. So we have a real insurance division with people, highly specialized, licensed advisors in general workers' comp, health insurance, and much. This, if you would like us to quote your health insurance, your general workers' comp, please reach out to us at info@joinrealfacts.com. And lastly, George, here, we like to do something special, which is October. Let me get the right date here. So it's going to be the end of October. We have 2 different slots open on the 18th and on the 25th. Real Facts is a group. The partners Real Facts come together once a quarter to just do life. In fact, I don't know if you knew this, George, but 70 to 90% of people are dying with regret. We don't know why, but if I had to guess, it's because we only have one life. Okay, we're going philosophical, and so yeah, we feel on a mission to help those around us, ourselves, our family, our friends, live life to the maximum level that we can do, and we do by just getting together in person for super fun events. So in October, for the next 8 people, there's literally, for end of October, there's only 8 left, but we have put together 9 motorized bicycles that have a 79cc engine on them. This is going to take place in Michigan, which is in season during the apple ciders. So it's not just motorized bicycles, but take a look at this. Can you guys see that as well?
It's
Here,
no
we can see
audio,
it.
but you'd have to reshare and
Okay, no
share
problem.
sound.
So yeah, you don't need to hear sound. It's just you an engine. But this is Mike and I. We were out this past weekend, and so the delightful weekend here at the end of October is for the next 8 people who subscribe for a pro user. Will join myself and all the other Real Facts owners at the end of October to come together, help create unforgettable, joyful memories. When I say that this is going to be one of the top 5 events of the year for you, it will be. It's not just driving these motorized bicycles in the middle of
That's
Ypsilanti,
impressive
Michigan.
balance with one hand, by the way.
Yeah, so you're going to be embarking on a 32.7-mile adventure with curated experiences along the way. We're having lunch so I mean, normally this event costs $250 to put in perspective there. So if you sign up for the pro user, we will include this for free. Everything for the days included, flight is not included. But we'll have lunch at the Dixboro Project, which is a world-renowned 5-star restaurant where they fly in chefs from all over the world. We'll play pickleball, golf, multiple apple cider orchids, and this is just when we culture of Real Facts, the brand of Real Facts. This is what it's about. It's about bringing people together and making sure that in addition to what we want to be known for, which is making sure that people are being paid for their hard work, we want to embody the spirit of Real Facts, which is bringing contractors together to have to have some fun.
Yeah,
It's really
absolutely.
cool being
Thanks for
able to
that,
do
Reese.
stuff outside too.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
And
times it's just like in a convention hall or like somewhere
yeah,
where you learn and then there's nothing else, or you can go drink at a bar. But that seems
yeah.
like a lot more
Oh, it's going to be
go.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get to
sounds
know
cool.
contractors better when you take them outside of the element. That's sales
Yeah.
101. And we just want we want to learn them, the customer, the end user and stuff. So appreciate again, George, you having us here. I know everybody here I know you got a big contact list. So anytime we can hang out with you, let us know.
Yeah,
For
how
sure.
can we support you? How can we
Yeah,
support you, George?
Just being here helps support me. So I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing.
you
Um,
bet.
but yeah, with all this, we'll be. Did you guys want to make any final notes before I go into wrapping up? Kind of final thoughts here.
I'm good. Again, we appreciate. I know every one of us appreciate you being here. It's why it was important for us
Sure.
to all jump in. There's seven of us. There's several of us, I should say, owners at Real Facts, and majority are contractors and stuff. And so we've had really good feedback. If you're listening to this and you have some good feedback for us, whether it's positive or negative, please email us at info@joinrealfacts.com. Again, that's JOINREALFACTS.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, and you ever need any advertisement, hit up Volume Up. It's gonna
Appreciate
be
the
my
Mhm.
go-to.
emails.
George, I would say
Very
really
good.
quick too that as far as being a part of Real Facts for contractors, anything I think that Tito's a great guy, Reese is a great guy, Arielle, we all have industry experience and we can all offer different things. So if any contractors need other things, I think any one of us would have our phone and have a conversation with anybody to try to help anybody grow their business. That's just the
Mhm.
way it is. It's just because I've been there, Reese has been there, Tito's been there, Arielle's been there. We've all been there. So it's not just about liens and about, making sure people pay. There's other things that we can offer to the equation just as being helpful people to our fellow contractors and people that are trying to grow their business.
Yeah,
I think that's
thanks.
huge, right? Because a lot of
Appreciate
people can
that.
feel alone starting out. So that's freaking awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing this product. It was something when you shared it with me, I was like, this can be game changing, right? Even more so than advertising, getting more leads, whatever it may be. Like being able to actually collect the revenue you're owed is gonna really help a lot of people. So if you guys are on this call again, it's joinrealfacts.com. I dropped it in the chat for anybody who's watching this in the recording, and I know it's a lot of people every week because I have a tracking link on it. Just go ahead. I'll have the link below this video. You can go ahead, click it if you want to check that out. But with that being said, Brad, Tito, Reese, Arielle, thank you for coming on. I'm gonna go into some final thoughts and then we'll call it a day there.
You bet.
But yeah, so appreciate everybody who's coming on today, both in the Zoom webinar on YouTube and hopefully Facebook. Maybe not, but if not, it'll be posted there later. If you guys enjoyed this, again, reach out to these guys. I'm sure they'll be able to help you. And for the post recording, you'll be able to see that in the Facebook group. If you're not yet in it, I'm going to drop the link down below. All of our recordings from I think it's 22 episodes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Isabel, are in that group, from sales training to tax strategy to me talking about advertising, lead nurture, follow up, sales, revenue ops. Like everything you need to have success with your business is there. It's free. And cool people like Tito, like Reese, like Arielle, like Brad come on every week and share this expertise for free. So thank you guys for coming on, taking the time to do that. I know an hour out of your week is a lot to ask for anyone. So it does mean a lot that you trusted me, hopped on here today and shared your knowledge. I just dropped that link in the chat. With that, we'll call it a day there, guys. And again, thank you for coming on.